bring in our favorite. I'll just say it. I think he would think it's affectionate. Our favorite data nerd, Ryan Girdusky, to look at the early voting numbers and what are out there that we should all be aware of. Ryan, let me bring you in here. I'm going to hit you with the absolute latest gambling market numbers in all 7 swing states. As legitimately, I'm talking to you right now. Trump the favorite in Michigan, 56%. Trump the favorite in Pennsylvania, 57%. Trump the favorite in Georgia, 71%. Trump the favorite in North Carolina, 67%. Trump the favorite in Wisconsin, 56%. Trump the favorite in Nevada, 64%. And Trump the favorite in Arizona, 72%. He does not need to win all of these states, but all 7 of these states are early voting. We tell all of you we want 100% early vote and or voting participation. So don't listen to me and not go vote. But do you think those are accurate? Do you think the Trump team is confident quietly here 12 days out, given those numbers I just ran you through, gambling odds in the 7 battleground states?
So gambling odds are a lot of times changed based upon public perception. A lot of it's on the internet. I don't follow that. I don't believe that to be, not that I don't believe these numbers could be accurate or Trump could win them all, but I don't think the gambling odds are the best place to get these kinds of information. Um, Wisconsin is a very unusual thing. There is no party registration, and you can register to vote on election day. So if 1,000 Democrats wake up and say, "Hey, I've never registered to vote before," they can register on election day. It's very, very difficult to estimate Wisconsin without party registration and with people being able to register to vote up till the minute that they do vote. In Michigan is not the same thing with party registration. They're the same thing with party registration. So there's no political parties, and they don't give out race data. It's just geographic, and but there is a cutoff date. You can't register the day of. So that being said, I really don't know a lot. We don't know a lot outside the polling in Michigan and Wisconsin, which is really 50-50, depending on what poll you want to look at. In the state of Pennsylvania right now, which is a little different because they do have information on party registration, 1.1 million Democrats have requested an absentee ballot and 726,000 have voted. In 597,000 Republicans have requested an absentee ballot and 360,000 have voted. And 240,000 independents and have requested a ballot. 110,000 have voted. Democrats in Pennsylvania in the early vote will break heavily for the Democrats, probably by a 2-1 margin. That's not unusual. That's what happens in almost every election. Right now, Republicans lead in absentee ballot requests in 35 counties. I just want to put that in I want to look at that compared to past elections. In 2022, they led in 2 counties, and in 2020, they led in 13 counties. Significant more numbers of rural voters are requesting than in past elections for the Republicans. In Pike County became the first county, I think it was today, if not, it will happen tomorrow, where there are more returns and requests than in the 2020 election. In COVID, that is a 60-40 Republican county in the last election. So then you go to Florida, which is not really a swing state, but Republicans are obliterating the numbers there. 1.2 million to 1 million. Miami-Dade could flip Republican, or we had very, very close. North Carolina yesterday became the 3rd state to flip to a Republican lead in the absentee ballots. That was not really expected because many thought the hurricane would put a lot of Republican counties out, but those Republican counties in the hurricane-affected areas are seeing record-breaking turnout. Georgia does not have party registration, but they do list results based on race. Now, I know everyone's saying this huge surge of Black support for Donald Trump is real, but overall, something to the effect of 90% or 85% of all Black voters will be voting for the Democrat. And in Georgia, around 80 to 85% of all white voters will be voting for the Republican. That is the tradition. 59.66% of the vote so far is white, 26.5% is Black. That is a 1-point increase among white voters and a 1% decrease among Black voters compared to 2020, and is a tie from 2022. There is a surge of Hispanic and Asian voters, though, in the state, which is to be expected. Arizona, Republicans lead Democrats by 38,000 votes. from 2020. There are 38,000 more Republicans than 2020. There are 137,000 fewer Democrats. Among new voters, now Arizona is unusual in the fact that they give you the data based upon how often someone has voted. Among newly registered voters, Republicans lead Democrats by 2.2 thousand new registered voters, voters who have never voted in the state before or registered in the state before. Among people who have been registered but never voted, Republicans have 1.9 thousand, almost 2,000 more voters who have been registered, just never decided to vote before. They lead. And in Nevada was supposed to be Kamala's, best swing state, the state that she was never going to lose, really. Republicans lead Democrats by 17,000 votes. There is something known as the Clark County firewall. This is something that the Harry Reid machine built up in the mid 2000s, where Democrats would have such an enormous lead in Clark County, it wouldn't matter what the rurals did or what Washoe did, that they were going to win, because this Clark County lead will be tens of thousands of votes in favor of Democrats. As of right now, with 30% of the overall vote in for the election day vote, with the estimated election day vote will be, Republicans lead Democrats statewide by 17,000, and Democrats only lead Republicans in Clark County, which is Las Vegas, by just 7,000 votes. That is way, way, way under what Democrats are used to. And this whole idea of Kamala's amazing ground game operation is really being called into question right now.
Ryan, I don't know if I got all of that down on my notepad, but
Sorry, I know there was a lot of
so...
information.
No. We like the Girdusky around the world with the data. That's fine. But if you were to pick the top one or two things right now that are real, right, that are not projections, that we know are happening based on the data, so not including polling, that is concerning to the Kamala campaign, like what is keeping the head of the Kamala 2024 committee up at night right now the most?
So in Arizona is the only state that breaks this down. New voters are showing up in big numbers. Remember, a lot of new 18-year-olds, a lot of immigrants, but a lot of people moved around this country between 2020 and 2024 because of COVID. A lot of senior citizens moved around because of COVID. I wrote in my Substack, the National Populist Newsletter, 45% of all new Georgia voters are over the age of 50. A lot of new voters in Arizona are over the age of 50. These new voters, a lot of them are retirees, are voting in big numbers for Republicans. That's one thing. New voters, Republicans are showing up, and low propensity voters, Republicans are showing up. Secondly, and that's important, because does this huge surge of early vote by Republicans, is it eating away at their election day vote? Partially. It is 100% partially eating away their election day vote. But the surge of low propensity and new voters shows that it's not just our election day voters being eaten away at. Trump's numbers on election day will be smaller than 2020, but he will overall win election day. That's first of all. Secondly, the absentee ballot requests in Pennsylvania. If Pennsylvania on election day before election day, Democrats have less than 500,000 votes banked over Republicans, and they will have more because more Democrats are on the permanent absentee list. That is a very bad sign. Democrats need about 500,000 or more in the bank before election day because Republicans will win election day. That is extremely concerning. And then lastly, if you look at where these early turnouts are coming in, the rural counties from Pennsylvania to Nevada to Georgia, all of them are showing tremendous strength, even in states that don't have party registration. While a lot of places, the worst performing county in Pennsylvania for early vote compared to 2020 and 2022 is Philadelphia. That is not a good place for Democrats. Atlanta is having issues with the black vote. That is not a good thing for Democrats. They are sitting there and very, very panicked and keep on saying out loud, well, they'll just show up on election day. There's no guarantee they will. There's no guarantee they won't, but there's no guarantee they will.
So if you were we've asked you this for months now, and you were talking to Ryan Girdusky. Encourage you to go read his Populist Substack newsletter. Very, very good. I'm a subscriber. I think you guys will enjoy it as well. If you were setting odds right now, chances Trump wins 12 days out, chances that Kamala wins 12 days out, what do you think are reasonable projections at this point?
Trump is the favorite to win, but it's probably 55 to 45%. Kamala can still win this race. It's not a guarantee, although a lot of things are moving in his general direction. And it's not a guarantee because Kamala has one group of voters that Trump doesn't have, which is highly educated white voters. And she has the support of a lot of black voters. They will be mobilized through Souls to the Polls in the weekend before Election Day for the black voters. And white college educated voters are the most active voters in the country. About almost 85 to 90% of them show up in these kinds of elections. That will be very, very beneficial in the Philadelphia, collar counties in Pennsylvania. That'll be very beneficial around the Raleigh and Durham area and Wake County, North Carolina, around Atlanta suburbs. That is what she is depending on, is that these people are no longer afraid of COVID, but will be showing up and showing up big for her. So Trump has the lead. It's not a tremendous lead. It's not the lead he had with Joe Biden, and Republicans can't act like he does. But Democrats are increasingly becoming unhinged by the numbers.
One more question. If you were telling us, and I know we're 12 days out, but early voting numbers coming in on election night, I think we will likely have Florida complete before a lot of our listeners will go to bed. Will Florida tell us much in your mind? Like if Trump wins Florida by, let's say, 8 or more points, which seems highly likely based on how voting is going so far, is that an indication for other states? Is there somewhere else that you would point to that may have reliable early data that could give us a sign of how the nation is voting? What would you point to as like, hey, pay attention to this?
So the state of Florida, no. I would look at Midwestern retiree communities in Florida. That was the first sign that Bill Clinton got from his political campaign director from 1992 that Hillary was going to lose in 2016, because the margins in the Midwestern retiree communities were explosive and they were overwhelmingly favoring Donald Trump. If those numbers look like they do in this election as well, it will be very, very good in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. In Pennsylvania on election night, the early ballots will come in first. So unlike 2020. So what you will see is huge numbers for Democrats starting out the night. And as it continues, it whittling down and whittling down and whittling down. There is going, in much of the same way there was a quote unquote red mirage in 2020, there will be a blue mirage in 2024 at the very beginning of the night. Don't get panicked. Wait and see as the election day numbers are counted. It will be interesting to see by how much she's winning this early vote, considering Republicans have invested so much in it. In 2020, in Pennsylvania, she was winning the early vote by something like 36%. If she's winning the early vote by 25%, that is a very, very, very bad sign for Kamala Harris.
Ryan Girdusky, everybody. National Populist Newsletter is his Substack. Clay and I are subscribers. Go check it out for yourself. Great insights on politics. Ryan, we're going to have you back before the big day, so study up. Thanks for being with us.
A lot of good data there, Buck, from Ryan. And I know a lot of you are very fired up for the election, but I also know that a lot of people out there are wanting Trump to win because they're concerned desperately about crime. And if you're one of those people and you've got guns in your house, but you maybe would like a non-lethal element to add to your house, because let's be honest, maybe you got teenagers, maybe you got people who work different shifts coming in different hours into your home, and you don't want something that could be lethal, but you want something that would protect you. That is what the Pepper projectile launcher is for. Only 68 caliber launcher with 7 projectile capacity, offering 40% more shots than other brands. It also creates a 6-foot pepper cloud, giving you and your family precious extra time. You get this near a bad guy, you are going to really create a major issue for them. For 50 years, Saber's been dedicated to making the world safer. Trusted by law enforcement, millions of families, they provide powerful, non-lethal protection at home and on the go. And whether you want pepper spray that's connected, let's say, to your keychain, or you want protective devices on your doors, or you want, like I said, that pepper projectile launcher, they can help make you and your family much safer. You can go check it out today at saberradio.com. That's SABRE radio.com. Trust me, go check out all the products. We have all of them here at the Travis household. You can add them as well. 844-824-SAFE to protect your family today. That's sabreradio.com, SABRE radio.com.